to get a hell of a deal on sprockets or even the V3 bar, 29% stronger than the competition. Oversized bar, 7/8 bar. Vortex Racing guys will have you covered. We want to thank them for coming on the show. And again, email Jake at vortexracing.com if you need some sprockets or a handlebar. Vortex will dial you in. The most anticipated guest of the night tonight is brought to you by Vortex Racing. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Former factory Kawasaki rider, factory Honda rider, and all-around badass, Ryan Hughes. Rhino, what's up, man?
Not much. Just sitting in Hawaii, kind of riding out the storm, I guess. Riding out the pandemic.
Rhino, you are riding this out in the best possible way. We've been following you on social media. We've been talking about you on our shows. This thing seems like it's going pretty good for you, Rhino.
I'm jealous.
I'm jealous. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you come to a point in life where you learn how to feel. You learn how to feel your intuition. And so I was in Holland, because I was working with Glenn Goldenhoff, and we're about ready to leave for Argentina for this GP. I think it was like the next week, and then everything got locked down. And we've had a deal for like 4 months, and I said, well, look, let's not spend the money of me just sitting here waiting for this lockdown to happen. Let's just stop our deal. I'll fly home, and then when this thing starts back up, man, I'll be there the next day. And so when I was taking the train, so I bought a ticket that night, was take a train to Amsterdam the next morning, and then I heard Trump was locking down the borders. I'm like, shit, boom, slid in there perfectly. So then I got home for a couple days, and then started hearing some things that the things were going to get locked down more. And I had a friend that was doing a retreat in Hawaii, and she's like, well, hey, just come on over, hang out, and you can stay here for free, just help out everybody else. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck, okay. So I got a ticket that night, jumped on the plane the next day, and flew out here, and I've been here ever since. And things just kind of gotten a little bit worse, a little bit more locked down.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, if shit hits the fan, where would be the best place? Well, where I'm at. It rains every day. There's coconuts and pineapples and avocados, and there's fucking goats, and there's fish, and
Yeah.
So I think I'll stay here, and then also just helping some people go through this water fast and all that. So I kind of gave my time to some people too, without getting anything in return. Because mostly I give my time, but it's something in return because it's a business,
Yeah, for sure.
This way was just giving my time. I was doing damn dishes and sweeping floors and, sleeping in a container. But dude, it was so cool. Yeah. So cool. I just needed a chance to not have to chase. I've been chasing for 36 damn years of money, fame, wins, prestige, houses, fucking business, trying to live up to expectations, chasing unfulfillment. You get what I'm saying? And so I finally got to a point where I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Wow, this feels good. I don't have to chase anything. This is new.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I'm starting to get used to it.
Yeah. Hey, we were in Hawaii. My wife and I took off kind of when the season got suspended, and we went there. We went to Maui, and slowly we were there for like 8 days. Everything started getting taken away, and soon, by the time we left, no restaurants open, room service only. They would put the tray at the foot of your door. Nothing to do with this resort. Everything was getting, and we're like, okay, I guess we got to go. I guess we got to go. So
yeah, exactly. So, but the retreat that I was at is privately owned. So
okay,
so we have the butchers and the farmers and the goat people and the cheese people and the bread people, all the organic and all the the stuff. And so the girl that I was there with, she knows all those connections. So again, we were just eating like fucking kings, man. Just every single day eating like kings. So we didn't have to worry about, hotels or anything like that. We're kind of more secluded that way. But just things started getting locked down, and I'm just like, well, I'll just ride this thing out here. Or I can go home, I can sit on the same couch, watch the same TV, hang out with the same people, ride the same trails, ride the same tracks, or I can come somewhere where I've never known before, and so every step I take is something new. You know?
And Kiefer and I we're like Rhino's got the best deal on this lockdown.
Dude, it's great.
It's the best deal. It's the best deal going.
You got beautiful chicks with you. You have food. You have the water. You got a fucking waterfall. You can run around.
It's got a rope swing.
Yeah, you got all of it.
Yeah.
So we go hiking. So now just and the other day, David Barrett called me.
Oh, wow.
David Barrett, he's the director producer of Blue Bloods, and his grandpa is the founder of Mammoth Mountain.
Right.
So we've been friends for a long time. I remember seeing him race in Verona Oaks like in 1986, and then we've done it, talked and this and that, but we haven't seen each other for like 19 years.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, hey, dude. He's like, you on the Big Island? I'm like, yeah. I'm on the other side in Hilo. He's like, shit, I'm in Kona. So I'm like, no way. So I just bought a house here. So I just came over the other day, and now I'm just staying here for a few days in Kona, and in a completely different climate, man. It's only an hour and 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
But the climate is like more Southern California, dry, a little bit deserty. Then you go an hour 20 the other way, and it's complete rainforest, almost the most rainfall in the world, It's amazing.
What are the chances, Keith? What are the chances, Kiefer, that Rhino never goes back to the mainland? Just never comes back here.
Dude, if it's like this, homeboy, we ain't seeing Rhino, dude.
No.
Rhino will commute to do schools from Hawaii.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, it's on the plan. It's on the plan. I'm working on it. I got my place in California, so that's good. So I'm like, man, okay, I get my second place here. And then, Australia and New Zealand, they're only like 10, 12 hours away. America's only like 6. Europe's only 14. So, shit, man, I'm pretty good spot. But now, once the borders open and once everything goes back to normal, that next day, I'll be in Holland. I really, really want to finish the thing out that I started with Glenn. I really dig that guy. He's super, super down to earth, cool.
Seems like it, yeah.
Focused, determined. Racer that you would never expect from the outside. You get what I'm saying? Talking to him then. And like him and his girlfriend are just such a blessing to be able to work with. So, and I liked Holland, man. Holland was really cool. I was starting to dig it, starting to get used to everything being kind of small and, clean and this and that. And I know at this time of the year, it'd be absolutely beautiful. So, I just did a 360. I went from Holland that was wintertime to Hawaii.
So basically, I have a lot of questions, but I want to start this one off. Okay. I'm intrigued by you, Rhino. I have a lot of values that I look at you. I'm like, I like that a lot, and
well, thank you.
So when did you decide to change your life into what it is today? Because obviously, people that know Rhino, that know you as far as motocross, you were never this type of person. Maybe not even 10, 15 years ago. You've kind of evolved. So where was it in your life that you decided, okay, this is the person I want to be, and this is how I'm going to live my life? Or what made you change into that direction?
Well, in my life, things happen. And when things happen, so the way I look at it is life, God, whatever you want to say, does not have a voice. You cannot hear. So to me, life speaks, God speaks through situations. And those situations are lessons. And those lessons are up to you because we're the only creature on earth that has free will. So we can take that and take it this place and progress from it, or take it this place and go backwards from it. And so I would say there's 3 or 4 things in the last few years that, or probably in the last 15 years, that has really, really, really changed me. One is retiring from motocross. That was very difficult. Every rider has to go through it, and I'm sure you understand it and other people understand it. 2 was breaking my back and being paralyzed, because that stopped me from trying to be the person that I was trying to be, some fucking guy that had to be better than everybody,
Yeah.
3 was being divorced. That taught me a massive, massive lesson, and I've never gone through so much pain in my life. And then 4 was compounding my femur this last February. And these things were all lessons. They were all signs to me, and all things to get me to kind of wake up and maybe see things with different eyes. See, I lived the same life, but now I see the life with different eyes. And, the things people think that things being taken away from you or slipping away from you are bad things. But the reason I can live my life the way I can is because things have slipped away from me. Okay, not slipped away, but my kids are older now. I don't need to take care of them as much. They take care of themselves. I'm divorced, so I don't have a wife to really have to be there with. I've sold my house, and I don't have a place that I'm married to. My job I'm blessed with that allows me to be known around the world, so I can travel and be able to coach it. And then I have a gift of coaching, so that is my medicine. That is my passion. So that that allows me to travel around the world and meet the most amazing people and go to the most amazing places just to teach and coach what I've done my whole life, and that's motocross. So, those things too. I read a lot. I like to ponder on things. I don't get stuck in the way people think. I think outside the box. I don't get stuck on theologies and all these different things. So I allow myself to be completely free. And when you're completely free, well, then you can turn into anything that you want, or anything that life is wanting you to turn into, right? And so it's almost like my life is so free, it's scary right now.
Yeah, interesting. Well, yeah, I mean.
So if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, and I just was always wondering, because I remember how intense you were. We all knew that Rhino had a little bit of a temper. When things would go south, you would turn into that.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah,
and then now it's just it's a 180.
I remember working at PJ1 team with Button, and Rhino came over and wanted to punch out Jimmy, and Jimmy's like, dude, we're buddies. Calm down. And Rhino was not having it.
Right.
Jimmy was like, dude, we're friends. You're not going to punch me. And you were so mad, Rhino.
Yeah.
That's how you rode. That's how you train. That's how that's your passion, right?
Yeah. I mean, that got me places, and
Yeah.
and that part of me still there, but you've learned to be a master of when to let it out and when not to. But also, I guess when you've been humbled so deeply by things, by injury, by making yourself look like a fool, divorce, things like that, you get humbled very deeply, and you change, man. You change. You become so much, when you really understand it, you become so much more kind. You become more compassionate because you felt what other people have gone through. You feel what people are going through because you're not the only one going through this. So once you kind of experience this, then you almost start seeing this in other people, and people with their stories. You start to really you have kindness for them and compassion for them, because like, man, I went through that, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody, if that makes sense, And so, a lot of people take the worst in life and want to push it away, or it's almost sometimes like I gravitate towards it, because that's when I learn the most. It's kind of like a race. When you have a bad race, what do? You talk about it, you dissect it, you focus on it for a whole week, right? Oh, God, I got to do this, we should change this, and what about this? If you win, it's high fives, have a pizza, and see you later. So we're more focused on some of the bad times than we are the good times, because those are the times that almost kind of make us grow, But a racer should really, when he has a good day, sit down for 5 minutes and wonder why. Why did I have that good day? What did I eat? How was my training? How was my rest? Where was my mind? How was my bike? All these different things. So then you can learn how to replay that good day instead of always focusing on your bad days and just high fives on your good days. No, focus on your good days too, because if you don't know how that happened, how are you going to repeat it? If that makes sense.
Yeah. And what about the chicks, Rhino? Who are these chicks? Where'd you meet these? Like, I got a sense, like,
Right.
You and these chicks are growing close over there in Hawaii.
I like some of the close-up shots. I like all that.
Dude, Rhino's not scared to get in there.
No, I'm all about it.
Oh, you love it.
I love it. Like, I am in.
Soak and poke.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like he's got a cool chick. She's down with it. Like, Rhino knows the boundaries. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. One. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
You can let your mind wander as much as you want. Yes, I've had a off and on relationship with one girl for about 1.5 years, and she's the one that brought me over to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then talking this and that, and I'm a pretty wild man, and like my freedom, and she calls me a pirate. She's like, you're like a freaking pirate.
Oh, you got the pirate hair going on right now for sure.
Like, you're like a pirate. I'm like, yeah, you just want to take and go. I'm like, oh, baby.
I love it.
So she's like, you know what? You need 2 girlfriends. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. She's like, well, I have a friend that's coming over anyways, and then she'll just stay with us, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you like that?
So,
yeah. Look at Kiefer.
Like, okay,
Can we all fucking give a clap for Rhino? Let's give it a come on.
I mean, it was the girl's suggestion.
Yeah. So it was yoga, and and she's a physical therapist, yoga instructor.
Yeah.
She brings something to the table for sure. Not just for fun and games. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No.
You know.
So like 2 chicks. That's cool. That's rad. Yeah. Let's all.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's every
great.
man's fantasy, like,
right?
It's great.
But it was the girl that suggested it. It wasn't Rhino going out and like captivating.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't. No.
Right.
That's not. I'm not a chaser anymore.
Right. Right.
It all fell in my lap. But it's not. Again, yeah. Well, that's every man's fantasy. But now you have 2 chickens.
Right.
2 chickens.
Right. That's awesome.
I'm like, you guys are like a bunch of chickens. I mean, you guys just indecisive chickens that just make me sit there and wait.
Yeah.
And like, but the only thing you do is just walk around and cock around all day. We're cooking, cleaning, all you do is lay there, legs open, just fucking watching us, just talking around. Well, we're gonna put ourselves in the right place.
Yeah. Listen. These are trying times.
I'm just having fun. That's it. There's nothing serious whatsoever in my life, or about. The only thing serious in my life is about teaching people how to ride motocross.
Yeah.
Motorcycles safely and better, and get to their goals, and that's it. Everything else is absolute play to me, because I've come down to this earth to relax and enjoy. I figured it out. Anytime that I try to get too serious and try to work too much and try to do something, I fuck it up, and I become somebody not, and I become kind of egotistical and this and that. But when I just allow myself to relax and enjoy, like I like to do in everything, then the real me comes out. And so I figured that side out finally.
Last question on this subject, kind of like before we move on. Yeah. Would you ever get married again? Because I've been through some shit like you with my wife, and like what you said hit home to me. I haven't felt pain like that besides my mom passing away. Like that pain is a real thing, right? So I was always curious about that.
Yeah, the traditional way, no. For me to go to some church and for some guy to tell me that I'm married, and for me to say yes, and you know what I mean? And then if I get divorced, they take half my money, they take my house, they take my kids. You think it's hard on the wife. No, man. People don't understand how hard divorce is on man, because we get everything taken away. We are the ones that almost feel abandoned, even though we might have fucked it up, but still. I'm just saying. So I don't know. I don't know if I kind of did it.
Right.
That's where I'm at in my life, and that's it's kind of scary for me. Is like, hey, to make money, did it. To be famous, did it. To be popular, did it. To be successful, did it. To have a house, did it. A big house, to have nice cars, did it.
Yeah.
To get married, did it. Raise kids, did it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh shit, what is there really to do, and that's why it always just brings myself back to me, back to me. And that's maybe where you've seen a lot of this change or growth in me, is because everything has just rebounded me back to me, because, I've already chased it all and accomplished it all, so to speak. And I don't really have the will to accomplish it again. So
makes sense.
I mean, marriage wise, no, like a partnership and an understanding and a commitment. Yeah, hell yeah, but no, I wouldn't go down that road again. No way.
We got some calls for you, Rhino. First up, Ryan Hughes on the show, brought to you by Vortex Racing. Jason is on 2. Jason, what's going on? What's your question for Ryan Hughes?
Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey Ryan, I'm just wanted to say, hey, I'm 52 years old, also going through a divorce, and have followed your career all along back when you were, such a gnarly racer. Just super impressed with what you're doing with your life right now, man. I wanted to say that.
Me too.
Yeah, and just, it's really awesome guidance. And I noticed you had, on your Instagram, you quoted Alan Watts, and I know you're getting into the Zen philosophy a little bit, and I know this gets into religion or whatever, but it's something I've studied for a long time, where it's about living in the moment, right? And I find on the motorcycle, it's so ideal because you're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about getting hurt or whatever. you're totally in the moment. I was just wondering how deeply you've studied that literature and how much you've got into that. This is a guy, Alan Watts, I've been studying for a long time. So
yeah,
wanted to
well,
get
I
more of
mean,
your
for
thoughts on
me,
that.
I don't know, say I've studied Alan Watts too much. Of course, I've read his stuff, listened to his stuff, this and that. But my own perspective is just, motocross. Yes, you know what? The mind does concentrate on getting hurt. The mind does focus on what it doesn't want, and that's the mistake in motocross. Is when you're in the mind, then you're split. Your mind is either future, past, or surroundings. It never can be now. So if you're in future, past surroundings of thinking, well, you only can hope that your wheels are going to be where they're at. And if there's hope in you, there's tension, hesitation, mistakes, crashes. So you have to learn how to feel, because you only can feel now. You can't feel future, you can't feel past, and you can't feel surroundings. You only can feel now, and that's all motocross is, and that's why it's so addicting, because it puts you in this present moment of now here, because there's nowhere to go. Anywhere you go thinking-wise, you're still now here. Emotionally, thinking down the street to a new country, you're going, but you're still always in the now here. You get what I'm saying? So there's nowhere
Absolutely.
to go, because you're always now here. It's the same words. Just change it up.
Yeah.
And so that in motocross is when you can learn how to feel those wheels, feel that shift, feel the braking, feel your feet, feel your hips, feel your arms move, feel that bike come to you and away from you. Well, now you can trust that your wheels are going to be where they're at. And if you have trust in you, you relax. And if you relax, you have a flow. And if you have flow, you have speed. And if you have speed, you have confidence, right? And that's everything in life, because life is only this moment. Yeah, it's easy. Everybody's heard that, but truly try to put your mind around that anywhere you go, you're always now here, because there's nowhere to go, if that makes sense. I can buy a new house, but I'm still now here. I can go down the street, but I'm still now here. If my mind thinks about Unadilla 94, well, I'm still now here. And so that's only been my, trying to really wrap my head around that understanding, because we've all heard it, but do you understand it? That's the thing. Yeah, I've heard it, I get it, but do you understand it, or do you live it? That's the biggest point, because that's what's wrong with a lot of people, is they know a lot of things, but knowledge is only borrowed from another person's mind. You know what I mean? Experience is wisdom. That's the deepest level of knowledge, is experience, and wisdom is done by experience. Experience is met by living it out. And so, I that's all I try to really focus on in life, because that's all there is. You can take all these books and throw away all the mumble jumble. Just focus on being here now. Your food, your shower, feel your feet, feel your bed, feel that your woman that you're snuggling up to. Yeah. Look at her in the eye when you're speaking. You know what I mean? Like, really get engaged with what life is offering you, and then you won't be searching for things to cover up now, because that's all we're doing, is searching to cover up now by cell phones, TV, food, porn, alcohol, marijuana, drugs, excitement. We're always trying to cover up now, and that's what I say to everybody. When you're in pain, you're unhappy, you're stressed, watch your hands, because that's what your addiction is, whatever they grab for, because that will try to cover up what you're going through at the moment, if that all makes sense. That's
absolutely
the way I look at it.
For sure.
Cool. Well, thanks, Jason. Yeah. Anything else?
No, it's just I just hope people are listening to Ryan here. I know this might be new for people, whatever their philosophies, but man, he's really onto something. Super proud of the guy, and just, man, keep it up.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for
calling.
calling.
So much. That means a lot.
What about the ice baths?
That's gnarly.
Rhino, you love those things.
Dude, I'm telling you, I compounded my femur in February, and in 5 months, I'm 47 years old now, but in 5 months, I didn't have a limp, pain, nothing. My leg was completely healed, and people are like, what the fuck were you doing? I go, just ice baths. I go, ice heat, ice heat, ice heat, ice heat. That's all I do, because, again, what happens is that when you go into the ice and you go into the heat, your lymphatic system starts to pump blood. So you're getting new blood through the whole body. If I hurt my ankle and I just put my ankle in ice, I'm only getting that one location. But if I submerge my whole body, now I'm getting the whole body, in cold and the whole body in heat, and then that because when you get cold, you bring your blood to your organs. When you get hot, the blood comes to your skin. So that pumping of that blood gets new blood to different parts of your body. It's kind of like in yoga. Whenever you twist or compress, you shut off the blood to an organ. When you release that twist and that compression, new blood shoots through the organ and detoxes it. So it's kind of like the same thing with the body. And then also the big, inflammation. Makes your cells stronger, blood stronger, tendons, ligaments, all that stuff. But the biggest thing is what it does for your mind. Because I know every time I get into the ice bath, it's going to be painful, right? I know it. I'm just like, gosh, dang. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do this. But you learn to face that fear, and you learn to be comfortable when you're uncomfortable. So it really, I used it more from my mind than anything else. Because I knew it was painful. I knew it was going to be painful, but I learned to relax being uncomfortable. So how you do anything is how you do everything. So anything that's come around the corner, new situations or uncomfortable situations, I've met it with somebody that's a lot more comfortable, much more relaxed because of what I put myself through in other little areas. That makes sense.
I don't understand why we're always looking for content and all this shit. Why the fuck isn't anyone following Rhino around and having a video series of Rhino? I mean, you telling me that wouldn't get a fucking million views?
I'm in.
Dude, I know. And you know what? I've thought about this for so many years, but dude, I do have a lazy side to me. I really do. And sometimes I'm just like, man, it's just so much work. And again, I don't want to have a camera on me all the time. Not on me. If someone else is doing it, then cool. But I don't want to. Right. I don't want to have a camera on me and it's like I'm missing life. I see some people that are on Instagram, and Jesus Christ, man, how do you even have a life? Yeah. Right. Yep. And so I don't want to be that, but I do want to show people. What I do. Not that I'm trying to lead anybody or anything like that, but just share with people. I love to share. I share anything, I share anything, and that's what I love to do. So anybody out there that wants to follow me around into Hawaii, then we're going to where are we going next? We'll go to Holland, and we're going to be going to all the GPs, and then where else will we go? We're going to go to Russia, all these different places. So anybody wants to follow me around and play with some lovely women and waterfalls and eat organic foods and yoga.
If I'm a videographer, I'm fucking dropping my shit and I'm flying.
I'd rather see this than Tiger King.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Right. I'm in. We got some more phone calls for you, Rhino. One is Bart. Bart, what's going on? What's your you trained with Rhino and you want to thank him, Bart?
Yeah, I trained with Rhino about 5 or 6 years ago. He might not remember me, but I trained with him actually here in Vegas, and I gave him I gave him a David Wolf book for sharing my gratitude then, and I just want to let him know that I've actually used.
Bart? Dude, I know Bart.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Dude, I love watching you on Instagram, and I just want to say the things I learned from you in motocross about being still and being present in moto, I've actually used in my career in commercial real estate and in my love life, and it translated well beyond motocross. So thank you for that.
Hell yeah.
And
thank you.
I would also,
well, again, every life is a race. Anything that you're going to come through life, you can meet it with the same perspective and approach as you do a race. Guaranteed, done. Same with the relationship. Everything's the same. Everybody thinks that it's so different, but the approach is the approach, and that's with, it's with an understanding the technique, and then having that, and then having the feel of what that technique is, because there's a technique to keep a woman happy, a technique to cook, a technique to garden, a technique to ride a motorcycle, a technique to, take a piss. You know what I mean? So
yes.
Well, cool, man. Go ahead, Bart.
Well, I got two questions for Rhino. One, can you share your mantra with us? And maybe this is a little too deep, but maybe explain to the fellas in the moto community about how our outer world is a projection of our inner world, and how that's kind of affected you in your in finding your authentic self.
Oh boy. Okay, so my mantra lately has been I'm now here because there's nowhere to go, and everything I see is me. That's kind of been my mantra a little bit.
I've seen that on the social. Yeah, I've seen that on the social.
Just seeing this as, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go because I'm now here, and everything I see is me, because it's true, right? How do you know that all this really exists, or how do you know that other person really exists if it could be a figment of your imagination? But so everything I see is me. And when you start to really tune into that, then you start to see yourself in a lot of people. You start to see your weaknesses in a lot of people. You start to see your imbalances in a lot of people. You start to see your pain in a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So you start to see that, and then again with that, you're just a product of your environment. Everything you read, see, listen to, hang around, do is what you become. And everything on the inside will come on the outside, just like your skin. Your skin is a TV screen of your inside. So if you have blemishes and zits and this and that and whatever, well, there's something going on the inside. So if you're having troubles and discomfort and bad things, or uncomfortable situations are coming up, or you see ugliness in the world, well, maybe check on the inside. Maybe look at who's looking back at you in the mirror, and that's usually you. And that's where you start from. You start from the seed, the first ingredient, and the first ingredient in you. Make that healthy and organic, and that the billion things that come from you, every thought, action, emotion, blah, 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 is now going to be fed with organic, juice. You're going to progress from everything that you do. But if you're sick and tired and unhappy and this and that, well, then everything that comes to you or out of you is going to be, diluted, I guess. And so, again, start from yourself. Everybody wants to go to the outside. Everybody wants to ask for help from some place or some guru or whatever. You're your best guru you'll ever meet. You know yourself better than anybody, but you just don't trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, then you don't need to ask questions anymore. I promise you.
There you go, Bart.
Awesome, man. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, bud. See ya.
Anybody else just calm right now?
Those birds in the background.
Birds are
The birds are there.
Rhino speaks.
Right.
I'm just super relaxed right now.
Yeah, buddy.
Another call for you from Dallas. Dallas, Sorry,
Right.
Dallas, what's your question for Ryan Hughes?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Hey, thanks for taking my call. Rhino, nice to talk to you, dude. I met you back in 2012 at Mammoth, and you're riding a YZ450 back then, and I remember talking to you, and I was riding the same bike. You're saying, like, fuck, I hate this bike, man. This is, it's the,
Really?
it's the worst. Yeah,
No,
and I've always thought about that. I never, Sorry, what was that?
I said I like that bike.
Oh, yeah, dude. I just remember our conversation and you being like, man, I hate this bike.
I like the bike. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was something else. Maybe we're, talking about something different and something about one thing about the bike. But I actually, enjoyed riding the bike. And that year, I rode it pretty damn fast, I believe. So
yeah, you did, dude. That was
so I don't want to come on the stand saying that. That I thought the Yamaha was bad. It wasn't. It was what did it have its imbalances? Of course it did, but
for sure, yeah.
So
okay, well, I mean, I guess that kind of answers my question because I'd been thinking about that really for quite a long time. I was like, why the hell is he riding that bike? Is it because he's getting them for free, or is he like working on technique because he doesn't like the bike? He doesn't like doing or what it does, and so he's riding it on purpose, or what was going on, but.
Yeah, there's a combination of things. You get a deal. You start riding the bike, and you stay on the bike, and so different things like that. You also be patient. That it's a new idea, and new ideas take a while to materialize, type of thing. So you stay on that bike for a little bit, but it didn't last. It didn't last too long, anyway. So.
Thanks for the call, man. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, for sure.
All
Thanks for taking it.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
How did the Coldenhoff thing come about, Rhino? I'm curious on that. Who reached out to who? How did that work? When I saw you were working with them, like, that's weird. How did that work? You talked about it a little bit, but how did it come together?
Yeah, so this year or last year, whatever, I think the fourth time I went to Spain last year. I think I went there 4 times, yeah. I was there, and I got a DM from him and Glenn saying, hey, man, you know what? Thank you so much for putting all the stuff that you put on Instagram. He goes, no other coach, trainer, anybody puts any information out there, and you do. And I've been following you and listening to you for a long time. and I really like what you say. And I'm like, wow. Well, thank you, man. It really means a lot coming from you. Especially for somebody at your caliber.
Yep.
And I said, hey, if you ever had interested in, working together, I know I can find a little bit more out of you. I know I can get a little bit more out of you from some things that I see and my approach and my ideas. And then he messaged me back and he says, yes, I'm very interested. He goes, how would you like to come to Spain in 3 weeks?
Oh, okay.
And I said, all right,
oh, yeah.
cool. So and he goes, and then we'll see how we get along and this and that. Cause I'm going to go there to test and train, see how we get along. And then we'll see we'll just go from there. And so I flew home and then I flew back to Spain. And the second day we're like, let's do the GPs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it worked.
Oh, cool.
we matched instantly.
So if our listeners want to hit you up on DM for lessons anywhere in the world, they can do it. Like people.
Oh yeah,
yep.
I mean direct message. That's how it's kind of my my platform is direct message. It's hard sometimes to keep up with them, so please forgive me if I don't. But yeah, I mean I'm willing to coach, train anybody around the world because I love to travel. I love new places, and I love to help people in this sport. The technique that I teach, and you guys can be testaments to it is the fundamentals of motocross. I feel that nobody's brought any fundamentals into motocross in the last, since day one, but these fundamentals that I teach are now a stamp in the sport of how you control the bike, how you're one with the bike, stabilize the bike, balance the bike, flow with the bike, and ahead of the bike, and Kiefer can kind of tell you because he rides really well and he rides with the correct style. So, that approach is what needs to be implanted in motocross, not we're getting too far ahead. We're making the bike so much better, but there's no teaching and schooling. We have F1 machines for fourth graders, with riding education, and that's very dangerous. And we have to make changes. So yeah, I teach privately. I teach schools. I do this. I do that. Again, I just love to play, travel, coach, have fun, and meet new people.
What's the over/under, Kiefer, on number of chicks that Rhino's been with at once?
At once?
At once. 5?
No. I think he realized. I think he's of sound mind, so he realizes what he can handle at one time. And I feel like Rhino would want to please the other person as well. So I would say maximum of 3.
Okay.
All
right.
Definitely, I'm definitely 100% the giver guy.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so 5's too many.
I don't stop until the finish line, until the checker flag comes out.
As we would expect.
Yes,
right.
Rhino, yes. We saw that in Steel City one year. Right.
I'll go through a broken leg. Yeah, I'll do it with a broken jaw.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of riding, you talked about, and you're engulfed in it, right? You're helping Glenn. You're teaching, the world about the correct way of riding, safety aspects. But what about? I understand that you've been hurt numerous times, but what about when you get back on the motorcycle yourself and you ride? Is it as enjoyable as it ever was, or is it more enjoyable now?
Well, that's the thing. You bring up two things. Yes, I've been hurt so much, in my sport. This, to go fast on a motorcycle is very, very easy for me, but not saying my career was very easy on me. And so, I've been beat up a lot. And that's another reason why I came to Hawaii, was to work in. And that's where a lot of people are going wrong, is that they're so focused on working out, becoming this, trying to become this person, trying to achieve this, trying to look like this, trying to keep up with this guy. And it's just all work out. And everybody's fucking depleted. They have no more energy. They're stale. You have to learn to work in. And when you learn to work in, then that's when you start to heal your body. And that's all I do now is work in. Yes, I train, but I only train to feel good. I don't train to be better than anybody, compete against anybody, or achieve anything. I just train to feel good, and everything I do is about working in to make sure that I do not hurt from all these injuries that I have. And, I can honestly say that I don't have any pain in my body unless I do train hard. And so, that's one thing that I'm going to be bringing into the sport. I brought a lot of stuff in, but now I'm going to start bringing in, and we're working on this new retreat. That retreat I'm at, we're going to try to open it up to bring people there to teach them how to work in, how to recover, how to, kind of almost take a reboot your phone. We're going to reboot you, an athlete one, all these different things. So look out for that. But the riding side, I don't have as much interest in it as I did. Definitely not. I do have interest in it when I can coach, when I can teach, when I can demonstrate. Then I'm getting something out of it. I'm helping people. But when those certain days that I just take my time and I just flow and I hit everything just perfectly and put that tire perfectly and get that shift perfectly and the track's nice and, smooth and and tacky. Yeah. Man, I love it. It's just like, I'd say it's like a soul surfer, you know what I mean? It's like meditation to me. It's just bam, bam, bam. Just hit everything perfect, not even use an ounce of energy. That is fun to me. To go fast and to do big jumps and to do that, no. I could care two shits. To show off in front of anybody, no. Could give two shits. But to feel that feeling that nothing, that can never match motocross, that feeling,
Well, Kiefer, that's you.
it's still there.
That feeling of a motorcycle, Kiefer. God,
Yeah.
It's tough to beat, man. It's as Rhino probably would attest to.
And I've chased it. I've chased
Right.
it in every area you can. Trust me. Yeah, I've chased it through Vegas, and I've chased it through.
Yeah.
I've chased it through every bedroom and every car and everything, trying to match that feeling that you get from motocross, and don't ever find it.
And that's
No
the
way.
thing, like I like about listening to what he's saying, because I worry sometimes about myself, and he said that earlier in this interview, is like, I haven't found that feeling. I love riding so much; it's such a big part of my life. Besides my family, it's my family and then riding. But what is the time that I'm gonna have to give it up? I'm gonna have to find something else to fill that void.
Yeah.
And if you don't
Oh, yeah.
find something that's gonna relax you or make you feel like you feel when you're on your bike, it's going to be a hard life.
Yeah, mountain biking, e-bike.
Yeah, and that's, but no, I did it. I did enduro. I did that. And it's like, this is dumb. This is dumb compared to riding to motocross. I mean, because when you get to that level that myself and Kiefer are up to, we can put the bike and do anything we want. We can do anything. And that's why, like myself and David Bear were talking. He's like, dude, I've done race cars, I've done Indy cars, I've raced this, I've raced that. He says nothing matches motocross because you're so free. A mountain bike you can go down, but you got to pedal the bitch back up.
Right.
Ski racing you got to go down. You can go down, cool, but you still got to hike back up. You know what I mean? And I can ride my motorcycle for an hour and not even get tired. A car you can't go off road where we go. So there's the freedom that you have on a motorcycle is unlike anything else. But that's what I tell every rider, like, oh, man, it's so hard. I work so hard. And I said, no hard, bud. You got it easy now because you're playing. You're playing.
Yeah.
I go, wait till it's all done. Wait till it's done. And then you ask yourself, who am I? Because that energy that you've created and that you're addicted to, that's been there for 30 years. Every day you wake up, you have something that challenges you, motivates you, rewards you. There's a consequence. There's a thrill. There's a fear. There's an exhilaration. Whatever. That energy that drives us to race motocross is there every day. When that goes away, now what? In the beginning, it's cool. Man, I don't have that pressure. But all of a sudden, you start saying, who am I? Who am I? So why does all these athletes always come back? They always come back.
They chase it. Yeah.
It's not the sport. It's the energy that they're addicted to. We're addicted to being that type of person. So it's not the sport. They usually come back and they fail, and then they retire again. So they think that that's going to fill the void, but it's not. You're just addicted to being that type of person. So you have to find something. And I always tell the riders, like even Glenn, I say, hey, find something that you like now. Start working on it now.
Yeah.
If you got another 3, 4 years, 5 years of racing, start working on it now. So then when you're done racing, you can just slide right into that and not be at this point of, now what do I do? And then if you have the now what do? What do? You try to fill that void with alcohol, with drugs, with gambling, with women, with entertainment, with food, with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're always trying to fill that thing. And so I tell them, try to find something before you get done so that you can slide right into it and be motivated and be rewarded from it instead of, going through that. Because every athlete dies twice. They say they die when they say they're done, and then they die when they die. Right? Because you're giving away a persona.
Sure.
I had to give up Rhino. Fuck, I can't be that guy anymore. I can't do 50% of the things that I used to do when I was younger. Or do I want to? So that person had to die. And it's good. It's a good thing.
Vortex Racing bringing you Ryan Hughes on the Pulp MX show. Email Jake@vortexracing.com for more information on that. Same sprockets that Chad Reed and James Stewart used to win championships Rhino, going back to moto a little bit, something I like asking. I just did one of these podcasts with Yogi a couple weeks ago, and
nice. How's he doing?
Oh, he's good. Yeah, he's raising some kids, and he's mountain biking a ton, and he's good. You know, Yogi, soft-spoken dude, right? Like not a very. I had to drag it out of him.
Yeah, kind of like me.
What's one regret you have about your career? Obviously, Team Green kid, amateur star, right into Mitch's program, Factory Cowie from there, Honda, GPs for a year or two. I talked to Chuck Miller for a Kevin Windham story that's coming out, and he brought your name up because we talked about K-Dub kind of finding his groove back with the Honda 4-stroke. And he brought up your name and said, poor Ryan, like he had to work through that bike, the bugs of that thing, and we all know what happened at Steel City to you with it. Maybe that's a regret, or was there a contract you should have taken or shouldn't have taken, or a fork in the road in your career as a racer, left or right, and you should have done something different? Anything comes to mind?
Yeah, two things. One, 1991, I signed a contract, had a deal with Honda. Honda gave me a bike, was loving it, this and that. But the year before, they kind of, or actually, it was 1991, I think, 90 or 91, right when Mitch had his first year of being split fire.
That was 91,
right?
Yeah.
Or peak, yeah. Yep. And so I had a deal to go on his team, but then Honda the year before kind of did some funny business with Denny Stevenson and somebody else with the ride,
Yeah.
And so I was like, kind of weird. And then Kawasaki came up with a bigger contract, probably a whole $20,000 difference. But back then it was like, oh my God,
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get me a new truck. So, how many chicks I'm gonna get with this new truck?
Yeah, I'm gonna lift it. I'm gonna get wheels.
Yeah, I'm gonna get wheels. I'm gonna get stereo. All the girls are gonna love me.
Right?
Damn it, to be bitching. So I said, and Kawasaki gave me that offer, and then so I took that. And I feel that was a bad decision there because I was kind of on my own because it was Kawasaki factory support.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of on my own. I didn't have the guidance or the everyday, tiddling on the motorcycle of Mitch Payton.
Yeah.
And then Mitch was, we kind of had a battle. I had a battle with Mitch that year. I'm like, dude, how can you be making my bikes just as, how can you be making my bikes so good? If I'm racing against you, I don't believe you. I think you're bullshit. So I kept calling him out, telling him he was bullshit, and he'd be working and working and working. But so that was one mistake, and then the other mistake was coming back. So in 2000, I was riding for HRC Honda in Europe, and I broke my wrist that year, and then my team, the sponsors didn't pay him, so I didn't get paid all year. The whole year I didn't get paid. But the end of the year turned out good because we won the Motocross of Nations. But then I got an offer. I was going to spend the rest of my career in Europe because I liked Europe. I liked what was happening. I didn't really want to race Supercross anymore, and I just wanted to race the out GPs. But then Honda offered me come back, develop this bike, big money, and come back to the United States and all that. And I was like, oh, shit. And I just had another kid and this. So I went back home, but that was the wrong decision because the bike wasn't developed. I should have stayed in Europe because I feel I could have won a championship. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But those two things are the two things that I, maybe would have changed in my career. But everything else, I gave my absolute life to it, and I have no regrets. I couldn't have tried any harder. Actually, I tried too damn hard.
Yeah. Chuck
really
brought that up about the bike. Just he talked about how you helped Kevin, right? They came out the production bike. They learned a lot of things, and Wyndham and a lot of guys had success on that thing, but you were the guinea pig for that bike. So
I figured out what wouldn't break if you crashed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I crashed that damn thing. Holy shit! But it was just the bike was 245, 250 something pounds.
Wow.
It was like 250 pounds. Yeah, dude, it was a fucking beast. I'd come into the inside. Whoop, missed the inside. Missed the middle. Around the outside. It was hard to turn the thing a little bit, and then it stalled in the air on me twice.
Right.
And that caused some massive crashes. So not the best memories, but so good.
What's one mistake that you see young riders doing nowadays, Rhino?
They're too focused. Can I say a couple things?
Yeah.
They're too focused on being cool. One.
Yep.
Thinking that they're going to get somewhere being popular on Instagram, You know what I mean? They're thinking that somebody's going to bring their ride, bring their success, and bring their results in a box and put it on their doorstep. Nah, little guys, you got to go work for that shit, and you got to work hard for it. You know what I mean? The second thing is they're afraid to race. Go race, man.
Yeah.
What, you're going to race 5 races a year?
I know, dude. It's
How
brutal, right? Yep.
You have to race. You have to race until you get to that top level. Then you can back it off. But you got to learn how to race. You got to learn every scenario that happens. Why do you think someone like Chad Reed can beat some young, up-and-coming, fast kid? Because he knows how to race. He knows the ins and outs. You know what I mean? And that's what happens is these guys are so fast in practice, but then they come to the race and they just struggle or panic because they don't have the experience of being out in front, being from behind, bad conditions at races, bad gates, screwy first turns, you know, stupid riders, stupid parents, stupid promoters, just all these things starts to make you so wise. And the wiser you are, well, the more answers you're going to have for anything that comes around the corner. So 1, trying to look so cool. 2, not racing enough, you know.
Yeah.
And 3, you know, being too addicted to training. Man. Work on your damn technique, kids. That's how you create speed. You know, speed is created through technique, not fitness. Fitness just creates speed for a duration of time. Okay? You know, you look at some of the fastest guys, they're their most unfit guys. And it's because it was called talent, it was called technique, it was called approach. So that's what I always say is work on your technique because speed comes from technique, not from training. Training just creates speed for a duration of time. Right?
Well, all well said.
I feel cleansed a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I need to smoke. I need to light up a smoke. I don't even smoke.
I got birds in the back. I've talked about chicks. I've talked about food. We talked about technique.
No. I think Rhino Kiefer might be the only guy that likes chicks and riding more than you.
I feel
like you guys are soulmates.
You know, Kiefer has me beat, man. He has me beat on the riding part. You like riding more than I do.
Well, but a passion for riding a motorcycle, for feeling good on a motorcycle.
I guess I don't even know if I really even.
I love dirt bikes.
The girls just come.
I like it that Rhino likes helping people.
Right.
And I'm very similar in that way. I get more a rewarding feeling by doing what I do with my business because I'm helping people spend their money the right way. Like Rhino's trying to teach people to be safer. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're teaching people how not to waste their money on shitty setups and shitty this and shitty that. You know what I mean? Save your money, do this, do that. That's somebody that cares about the sport. That's somebody that is giving back to what gave him so much. You know what I mean? That's your we all come down here to study ourselves, and that's the only reason we've come here is to study ourselves. And when we study ourselves, we learn what to give back to the world because we all have something to give back. And that's what you're doing is giving that. But it might not be, you're not changing the world, but in your world, it's all of your world, just like me, you know? And we all have these little bit of these pieces that make the whole world up from the passions that we have. So, man, I admire you for that too. And that it doesn't matter what level you're at, even if you're teaching someone how to sweep the street. So teach them how to sweep it better than anybody in the world, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rhino. Thanks for the time.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. You know, I always enjoy, you know, when people call and catch up. I love to talk and, you know, and tell like stories and experiences and stuff. But, you know, again, in this time, you know, don't it's a tough time. So everybody, you know, focus on yourself. You know, keep yourself healthy, keep yourself motivated. Don't let yourself go backwards. It's very easy right now to do that. But when this opens, man, come through it with some new eyes, some new approach, some new motivation instead of just getting right back into your old habits. They're boring. Your old habits are boring. You know, the old you is fucking boring, right? Bring something new out and challenge yourself, test yourself. So
I'm on board.
Do that.
Thanks, Rhino. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Rhino.
Everybody out there, I always got to put this out there. Everybody out there, remember rhinopower.com to get all the best supplements you can find. That's what keeps me healthy, motivated, you know, and focused. We have the online gym, rhinopowergym.com. You can follow that. Rhino Equipment for some really cool foot pegs and training equipment. And then if anybody wants to know about my schools and training, then it's the Rhino Institute. And then you can find everything that I'm doing and contact me, schedule me, and have some fun.
Watch out for those chickens, Rhino.
Have some fun.
Watch out for those chickens. Be careful.
Yeah, care for them chickens, man.
Thank you.
Man, they're fun.
Thank you.
They're fun chickens.
Thanks, Rhino.
Thanks, Rhino.
All right, guys. Peace. Have a good night.
See ya. That's awesome.
I was in a gangbang.
That's awesome.
Andy didn't even know what to say.
You can't fuck with it.
But it's weird. Like you
He's
said,
passionate.
it's so relaxing. Like to hear him speak and what he says is just calming. And, I mean, I guess if you sit back and reflect, like if you just take the time to do it, which is very hard because you're all busy doing
We're all
your
wrapped
stuff.
up into
So,
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, if you can take time to do that, maybe you go a different path. I don't know.
Here's what I like.
It's cool.
Even if you think he's full of shit or not, you can't debate how much passion he has.
That's what
for
I
what
said.
he
Yeah, I don't
does.
agree with everything he's said. I don't
right.
get it, but he's all in, and I admire that. And he's got 2 girlfriends.
Right.
You gonna run that by Heather?
It's not gonna fly.
That is not gonna fly with Heather.
No.